Okay, we're looking at vocab. Looking at our vocab for this week. These will be on your main selection test. This first word is advice. The word is?
Advice.
Advice. And it says, the coach gives advice to the pitcher. Advice is an opinion or a suggestion about what should be done. So advice is telling somebody about, it's an opinion or a suggestion about what should be done. Because sometimes that opinion, advice, may not be what you want to hear, or you may not agree with someone's advice, but it is a suggestion. So anyway, this coach is giving this pitcher some advice, suggestion about an opinion or a suggestion on throwing. I couldn't tell you what he's trying to impart there. So, again, this word is advice. Your turn?
Advice.
Okay, so here's some examples. Parents give their children advice a lot. The banker's advice was to save money. Grandpa gave us some wise advice, so we always listened to what he said. Okay. Who would you guys ask for advice about how to build a bookcase? Who would you go to if you needed advice on how to build a bookcase? Look, lean, listen, lower your volume. Ready, go.
My dad. My dad. My mom.
Okay, now with your partner. Nope, you should stay with your partner. There's no reason to bounce back. If I just said with your partner, if you move back, then it's just going to take more time. With your partner, if we had a new student joining our class, what advice would you give him or her? Person with the lowest number shares first, then person with the highest number shares their idea. Ready, go.
Say the rules are demonstrate.
1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
1, 2, eyes on you.
Very good. Okay, now your next one. Highest number shares first this time. And you can have a little bit of time to think about it. What was the best advice that you have ever received? Tell who gave you the advice and how it helped you. Person with the highest number shares first. Best advice you've ever gotten in your life. Who is it from and how did it help you? Ready, share.
And my mom told me not to go to so I was skating because I was and she told me not to go to basketball. I went around the fast and then I fell out and then I never was so proud. So it didn't feel why told me not to. I'm trying to trace the words you're saying. I know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, we finish up that one. We're on to a new word. This word is argument. Oh, my turn. Argument. Your turn.
Argument.
The man and the woman in the picture are having an argument. An argument is a dispute or a discussion by persons who disagree. So you have to disagree in order to, you probably have to disagree to have an argument. Yeah, Chase.
Isn't it people, not persons?
Okay, they have, I'm just reading what it says here. So let's say the word together. Argument. Your turn.
Argument.
Okay, here's some examples. We had an argument about the movie. People can have an argument without getting angry. The argument started when Meg said cats are better than dogs. Well, that's just foolish. All right, moving on, next word. This word is arrange. Oh, people are talking while I'm talking. That's frustrating. This word is arrangements. Your turn.
Arrangements.
They had to make new arrangements in order to fix the schedule. So they're working on a schedule. Arrangements are adjustments, settlements, or agreements. They are also plans or preparations. Let's say the word together. Arrangements. Okay, so in order to make an arrangement, you might make like a deal. Like, if you do this, then I'll do that. Or, this is how we're going to do this. What's our plan? We need to make, sometimes when, kind of a sad note, but when someone passes away, it's called making funeral arrangements. You're arranging the funeral, makes sense? Making plans, okay? We made arrangements for the party. Miss West changed the arrangements for the field trip. Throw that away from it, please. The principal made arrangements for a substitute when a teacher became ill. All right. Think of an ending to this sentence. You will have to make other arrangements for getting to school because... You will have to make other arrangements for getting to school because... Share that sentence with a partner. You will have to make other arrangements for getting to school because...
You need to make arrangements to get to school because you can't start.
1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
1, 2, eyes on you.
I don't think we're writing on whiteboards. Maybe we need to put it away. This word is descendants. Your turn.
Descendants.
This photograph shows descendants of one family. Descendants are born of a certain family or group. Alright, so my word, descendants. Your turn.
Descendants.
So descendants are simply your children and your children's children and your children's children's children. You're a descendant of your parents, which also makes you a descendant of your grandparents, which also makes you a descendant of your great-grandparents. Because your great-grandparents had your grandparents as children, and your grandparents had your parents as children, and you're the child of your parents. And someday maybe you'll have a child who will be your descendant. So like in my case, Aubrey is my descendant. Aubrey's my daughter, so she's my descendant, right? I'm a descendant of Neil and Jerry, Roth. Neil is a descendant of Florence and Leonard Roth. My mother is a descendant of Jack and Mary and Rael. And I don't know all my grandparents' names, but I know that Leonard was a descendant of John and I forget my great-grandmother's name. My grandpa Jack was a descendant of John Rail and Alice Rail. And I would have to look, I'd have to ask my parents. But you guys get how this works?
Yeah.
Yeah. Braxton.
What would you be if you were adopted?
Well,
How would that be?
you'd be a biological descendant of someone else.
What if you don't look like that person?
You aren't listening. You'd be a biological descendant of the person who actually were your mom and dad. But you kind of get adopted into the family, so what they would probably say is that, like, let's say that I was adopted.
Oh my God.
I would be an adopted descendant of Neil and Jerry.
Oh.
But I'm a biological descendant of whoever my biological parents were. Which, again, I'm not adopted, so I'm a biological descendant of my parents. But sometimes we all know now, in the 21st century, and even before, families come in many different shapes and sizes. But to be a biological descendant, you're a biological descendant of whoever your mother and birth mother and father were. You'd be an adopted descendant of your adopted family. Because a lot of times you get their last name, right? Braylon?
My 2 cousins are adopted.
Okay, cool. So, here's a couple sentences that show how you would use the word descendant. Those sisters are descendants of Irish immigrants. Now what that means is their ancestors or people who came before them probably came from Ireland. Descendants of the colonists are proud of their history. People living today should leave the earth in good shape for their descendants, meaning we want to take care of where we're living so that our children and children's children's and children's children's children and children's 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 children have a place to live. So, descendant means to people born of a certain family or group. This word is dishonest. And if you look at that little boy, he's a cheating. So it's dishonest to get test answers from looking at someone else's test. Dishonest means not honest or tending to cheat or lie. The word is dishonest. Your turn.
Dishonest.
Dad has no respect for dishonest people. Taking something that does not belong to you is dishonest. It is hard to trust dishonest people because they don't always tell the truth. Alright, I'm going to tell you about some actions. If you think the action describes someone dishonest, you're going to put a 1 on your chest. If it is something that's honest, you do a 2. Chase, we're not measuring anything, so put that down. Alright, someone finds a lost wallet and keeps it. Dishonest or honest? See a lot of 1s. That's probably dishonest. It's not yours. You probably shouldn't keep it. Someone finds jewelry and turns it into the police. 1 if it's dishonest, 2 if it's honest. Yeah, that would be honest. Someone tells others that she has no money, but she has $25 in her shoe. Yeah, that one's dishonest. You're not telling the truth. Alright. Next one. That's a picture of a script. Each actor in a movie will get a copy of this script. A script is a manuscript of a play, movie or radio or television show. Let's say the word script. Your turn.
Script.
Okay, I don't like that they use manuscript. What a script is essentially it's got all the different lines. It's typed out or it's handwritten so that we can read it. But a manuscript is like a draft. You know when we draft different paragraphs? Yeah, or when you write it the first time, and that's what a manuscript is. So a script just has all the different words that are going to be said in a play or a TV show or a movie. So, here's the script of my play. Actors work from a script until they learn their parts. The movie script contains the characters' dialogue, which means what people say. Alright. Moving on. This word is snag. Rose thorns are a snag for the gardener. A snag is a hidden or unexpected obstacle. Okay, so there's 2 definitions of snag. I can snag my coat on a rose thorn. If I do that, my coat gets caught on the thorn, right? But I can also have a snag in my plans. Okay, after school I plan to go, well here's a good example. This weekend I wanted to go buy some stuff to make pumpkin bread from Hugo's. And I tried to go on Saturday before I got my daughter back for the weekend, or for the rest of the weekend. But because the wind was so blustery here in North Dakota, the power had gone out in town. You guys hear about this?
No.
So when I went down to Hugo's, there was someone standing outside of the Hugo's marketplace saying, that all of the tills, all the cash machines were down, so you couldn't go in and buy things. That was a snag in my plans. I couldn't buy the things, which was my plan, because the power went out. You guys get how snag has two meanings? Okay. The riverboat captain kept a sharp lookout for any snags. That means that they didn't want to run into like a tree in the river. Our project hit a snag, so we made little progress. The canoe hit a snag in the river and became stuck. Again, this word is snag. Your turn?
Snag.
Okay. Now's our last one. So those are our vocab words. Now you need to get to page, what page is it, Braxton?
134.
134.
234.
234.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yes, sorry, 234.
I'm excited to see our voices.
I'm excited to hear your voices. What?
Mr. Rock.
Yeah, what's up? Oh yes, go quick.
Now you have to sign names to us.
Yeah.
You need to find the nickname.
Or you learn to do the old grandma voice.
No.
No, you know how to do it.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, you do.
I don't know.
Okay, we're looking at 234.
I'll be Jasmine.
You'll be Jasmine?
I'll be Kev. No, I'll be Miss Keller. I'll be Doris. I'll be
Yeah,
Miss Keller.
Mr. Brown.
Keller.
I'll be Dolores. Yeah, Josh's dead. Why didn't you just do all of them?
No, then it's not fun.
Got scene 2. Because everybody's going to argue about everything.
Probably true.
Just
Well, there's enough people, I think.
I want Miss Keeler.
Isn't everybody
I want
Jazz?
Jazz, or I want Jazz.
I want Dolores.
No, I am Dolores.
No, I am. I said Dolores first.
And
We're just going to argue.
That's probably true.
yeah, just don't do it. Miss Rock's all of them.
Yes.
Play.
How about you just draw it? Blake's on the door too.
Yeah, drawing six.
Except that.
Okay, it looks like I skipped over one. I might be on 235 right now. Again, we're looking at genre. And this is a drama or are stories performed in front of an audience. As you read, think about how one character can play two parts. Turn the page, 236. Okay, so here we got all the characters. We have Jasmine, Dolores, or Jasmine, Dolores, Carrie, Angie, Mitch, Cape, Miss Keeler, and Mr. Brown. Nailed it.
Yeah, Jasmine, Dolores.
I think it's Dolores.
I need to be satisfied.
So who is going to be
Not this.
Okay, so the setting is a room next to the stage in a high school, or in a school, school auditorium. It is bare, except for a table and chairs. Perhaps a clothes rack, a makeup table, and mirrors, some boxes, etc. That means other things that you might find like backstage. At rise. So that means, what do you guys think at rise means?
In the morning.
Good guess, but I don't think that's it.
Start of the scene.
Think about this. This is a
Start
play.
of the scene.
Refer to the scene. Like, it's the first
Okay, instead of blurting, maybe we can have some people share. Maddie, what do you think?
The first scene.
Okay. Parker.
At the start of the script.
Okay. Chase.
Like when they acted like.
At the start of a play, usually you have to pull something. What's rising?
The curtain.
The curtain. So they call it at rise because you're raising the curtain. Does that make sense?
I'll be at Rise.
Okay. So at rise, Mr. Brown enters carrying a clipboard. He shows in Mitch, Jasmine, Hap, Angie, Carrie, and Dolores all carrying books, backpacks, etc. Miss Keeler follows. All right, kids, you can work on your script in here. What? Okay, yeah, sorry. All right, kids, you can work on your script in here while the others rehearse on stage. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Miss Keeler then says, and how's the script coming along? Oh, we're doing fine, Miss Keeler. Good. How many scenes are you planning? I'm so good at this.
So get some new voices.
Quit telling me how to do. Quit telling me how to do.
Carrie's not a
Can you draw sticks?
No.
It's Mrs.
Guys, it doesn't matter.
Is it?
Okay. So, we know what the setting is, and we know who some of the characters are. So, we can make an assumption here. Mask on, please. We can make some assumptions here. Based on the setting and the characters, where is this play going to take place? Maddie. Probably in a what? Yes, it's probably going to be in a room. More specifically, though, Ava, where is this going to take place?
Probably like on a stage or like where an audience can be.
Okay, so where would it be then? Where do we find stages at? Where is this stage? At a school, very good. So this is probably taking place in a school. So asking questions like that, where is this taking place, that helps us, monitor what we're reading and understand what we're reading. How do we know that this is a play? What elements of the text help us know that this is a play? Macy.
Because they started with at rise.
Okay, it says at rise, and we talked about,
Mr. Rock,
oh, that's,
should I ask you a password?
yeah, who is it? Who is it?
I think it's
Reagan's mom.
Okay. Okay. You're lucky. Chase was supposed to ask you the password.
Oh,
You better got in.
Hey, do these go home today?
yes.
Okay.
Reagan's mom.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Danielle. How do we know what parts from the text here help us know that this is a play?
It says their name before it even starts with what they're going to say.
Exactly. Very, very good. Okay. So now, Carrie, I'm going to pretend Carrie's a boy. We were going to do a scene for each year of Riverside's history, but we thought 134 scenes would run long. You think? Just keep in mind, it's a skit in our Founders Day talent show. You're sharing the stage with. He consults his clipboard. Wait.
We'll grab one of ours.
Yeah. You think? Just keep in mind, it's a skit in our Founders Day talent show. You're sharing the stage with Betty and Beverly singing If I Ain't Got You. See how I did that? I acted.
Do it for the rest. Do it for the rest.
Don't have, sorry, force of habit. Milton, the miraculous musician. Oh, by the way, if you see an escaped rabbit come by here, try to corner him or something. Gloria Newman in her hula hoop extravaganza. Well, you get my point. It's a talent show. Everybody's going to win an acting. Nobody's going to win an acting award. Well, we'll let you work now. Right, thanks. Mr. Brown and Miss Keeler leave. Hey, would you read this if you were saying this line?
No.
Okay, so where are we?
We finished scene 1.
Who's got scene 2? I do. Here, ready? Say I do. 1, 2, 3. I do.
I do.
It says they look at each other. I was supposed to write it.
I told you I was going to write it.
2, 2?
Yes,
2.
2 twos. I guess.
This is fun, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, for you. Yeah, for you.
2, 2, 2, 2. They all look at him. He grins and shrugs.
Mr.
What?
Should I let them in because they left and they joined back?
Oh yeah, join him back in.
Of course.
Okay, girls, you can read girl stuff. I don't, here, you can read along. Angie says, cool it, Carrie. Ha, I wrote a scene too. No, I mean, it's also a scene, not to a scene. I mean, don't get Carrie started again. We'll see, Hat. Let's get this scene 2 business straightened out. Okay. So, in here, when we look at everything that Carrie's saying, what is Carrie trying to do? Look back at all the things that Carrie's talking about. What does it seem like Carrie's job might be with the group? Anybody? Delia.
To keep it running?
Yeah, he's trying to keep everybody organized, isn't he? And keep everything kind of moving in the right direction. I would agree with that. But he also in there, when things get kind of heated, what does he do?
Annoy them. Joke around.
Tries to joke around. Why do you think he does that?
To get everyone's attention. To get everyone from stop arguing.
Yeah, do something funny maybe to distract him. I would agree with that. Okay, here we go. Next page. Carrie. Boys, you can read Carrie. You guys.
Arm wrestle for who goes first.
You guys can arm wrestle for who goes first. Dolores says, Carrie! Jasmine, I'll go first. Here I made copies of the script. Distributes the script. Carrie, you play Joshua Wilkins. Angie, you read Becky Isaacs. And Hat, play Gunther Isaacs for now. They all take their scripts and move down center. This is scene 2 now. Okay, I think I should go. I think it's probably too confusing. We can do this a different day where we'll read it with all the parts, okay? And we'll maybe do it a couple times so everybody gets a part. This is scene 2 now. After Gunther Isaacs and his wife and 2 daughters have moved to Riverside. Except, it isn't Riverside yet. And they've built their cabin and planted their crops. Lights up, what does that probably mean in stage talk?
Heads up.
Lights up, what does that probably mean?
Lights starting.
Lights turned on, right? Like get the lights up. Carrie, huh? Jasmine, begin. Now here, if you look here, it says Carrie, but in parentheses it says Joshua. Why would it be like that?
Because it's
I like your enthusiasm, but we don't want to blur it. Okay, Roger, why might they have that?
Because that's part of the character.
Okay, because that's the character that Carrie's playing, right? Because when you play a part, you're not being yourself, right? You're pretending to be someone else. So this is saying it's like Carrie pretending to be Joshua. Becky, I must tell you I truly appreciate your family's hospitality this week. Angie as Becky. Joshua, in truth, my mother bade you to stay because she's so eager to hear news from the east. Are you okay? Are you following along or just looking at other people? All right. Mitch interrupting. Hold up. What does that mean? Bade you stay. It's past tense of bid. Like an auction? No, like invite. Go on. She reads too many books. Carrie is Joshua. You know, Becky, I came west looking for land. If I could find the right spot, I might be of a mind. No. What does that mean, of a mind? It means to think, to have an opinion. Stop interrupting, Mitch. Well, why can't they just talk regular English? Because it's history, that's why. They're speaking historical. Please.
This isn't real.
This is definitely real. No, I don't know.
Somebody wake me up.
Okay. Wait.
Okay. What conclusion can we draw about how Mitch feels about Jasmine's scene? Look, lean, listen, lower your volume. Go. Okay, what do we think Mitch thinks about this scene like?
Confused. Like, why can't they just speak proper English? I'm very confused.
Okay, so we think he might be a little confused. What else do we think? Autumn, what do you think he's thinking?
Boring.
You think he's thinking it might be a little boring. Okay. Well, here's what I know. Right now they're reading Jasmine's scene 2. What do we know, Mitch? What do we know about Mitch with scene 2? Parker.
He already did his.
He wrote a scene 2 already too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why might he be interrupting Jasmine's, do you think?
Because he wants to be part of that.
I like your enthusiasm, but the blurting. Why might he be interrupting Braylon if he's written his own?
He's interrupting because he doesn't know, like, he's confused. He's very confused because he's...
Because it's not his. What else?
Yeah.
Why else might he be interrupting Ava?
Because he thinks his is better than hers.
He might think that his is better than hers. Just until we're done, okay? All right, Angie is Becky. My father owns all of this land, Joshua. If you talk to him, if you but talk to him. Gunther enters. If you talk to me about what? Hello, Papa. About your land, Gunther. What if a young fellow desired to stay here? Why then, Joshua, I'm sure some sort of arrangement. Goodman, I'm sure some sort of arrangement could be made. I can see more and more settlers moving into this area. Soon we'll have a town, and that town will become a city, and someday in the future. You know what? I'm of a mind about this scene, Jasmine. It's boring. Well, that's too bad. It's history. This skit should be history. Oh man. Woo! Oh boy. That's them's is like fighting words right there. Okay, being that Mitch thinks that this is boring, what might Mitch's vision for this play be? He says it's boring. What might his vision be? He might think it should be what, Braden? Well, he might want to use his scene, but he's probably thinking that should be what, Mackenzie?
Probably think it should be like normal English, and it shouldn't be about history. It should be like about like what our modern days.
Okay, so using more modern English and maybe a different setting. Danielle?
He probably wants more action in the whole thing.
Could want it to be more action-packed. Could be that he just wants a different tone. Roger?
He probably wants it to be about aliens from a planet in a different universe coming and invading Earth.
I don't know if I can support that one. I don't know if he wants aliens and stuff. But he definitely wants something different than historical, right? Yeah, but you've got to read my scene about Gunther Isaacs handing out scripts. Here, Hat, you're still Gunther. Dolores, you're Gunther's wife. Amity Isaacs and Carrie, you're Peter Marlin. They all move to their places. Scene 2 and action. Carrie is Peter. Gunther, it's been awesome doing business with you. You've made my day, Peter. High five! Following the script, he raises his hand, but unsurely, Carrie high-fives him, so it kind of looked like this. Like. That's what it looked like. They're not sure about that high five. Jasmine interrupting. No, wait a minute! The founders did not high-five each other! How do you know? He holds up his hand. Carrie high-fives him. Then quickly, before Jasmine can think of an answer, he continues. Action! Action! So, Pete, well, when are we going to start clearing your land? First, I think I'll get my wife and son in Philip. Dolores, as Amity enters. Take my advice. Take my
Advice.
Peter, build first. Your family will thank you for it. Yo, Amity, you never complained before. About sleeping outdoors while you built a barn for the horses? What good would that do me? Good point. You know how much those horses are worth. Anyway, if you head east now, it will be winter before you get back. Cool. I'll give them a call now. Dolores dropping character. Give them a call. Mitch, even I know they didn't have telephones back then. I guess you're right. We'll make it a telegraph. Action! Action! How did we ever get scene 1 written? Well, I'll go to my cabin, and I'm sure looking forward to fishing in the river. Me too. Later, dude. What's this about fish? You know there are no fish in that river. I made that mighty river by damming that sorry losing creek. So again, not a curse word here, like we have the James, that we have a dam blocking the river. Okay? And I need you guys to understand that. Dolores, true, but what about the fish? All right, so taking a look at this, this is where we're going to end for today. Okay, so I know that a cause is why something happens. And the effect is what happens as a result of that, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to look for clue words to find out causes and effects. But what if there are no clue words? Clue words for cause and effect are like because, or if, or when. Then what we got to do is we got to look for actions that happen. And then we've got to think about what someone said or did. Just until we're done. Okay? So, for example, what happens when Hap uses the term high five? When he used high five, what happened? Hadley?
Jasmine said, they don't high five.
Okay, so the cause was the high five. Even before that, when he raised his hand, Carrie slaps it. Yeah, gives him a high five. Because they high five, that caused Jasmine to question that. They didn't do high fives. So sometimes you got to think about what happened. It's easy to find the effect, and then you have to think about what caused that. Make sense? Okay. Does Jasmine like Mitch's scene very much?
No.
No. Why doesn't she like Mitch's scene? Talk with partner. Chase, why doesn't Jasmine like Mitch's scene?
But it's supposed to be a history story and no history in his.
Okay, the history on his is very, very loosely based, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not supported in history books. He's taking some liberties with history. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to close up our books. People in the Zoom meeting, you guys have a vocabulary page. It's page 133. Page 133, vocabulary. I'm going to hand it out to my students. Right now we're not putting books away. Right now we're going to look at this so that we can get you working on this and also get our spelling pre-test in today. Sorry. I didn't notice it until my foot was coming down and I didn't want to blow out my ACL. It's a tendon in your knee. Or a ligament in your knee. Oh boy, that sounds awful. I don't want to have surgery on mine. At least until hunting season's over. Yeah, dogs can blow out their ACLs. I've been lucky, mine hasn't.
My dad might have to get surgery on his brain.
Ew, that's not so good.
His brain.
Well, I hope everything works out. Okay, we're looking at page 133. Page 133. You have 7 vocab words, but there's only 10 blanks on this worksheet. So how many are going to get used twice?
3.
Everyone will be used once, and you'll use 3 of them twice. Up at the top. Okay, I have an answer. Well, then I guess you are just on your own. Again, boys, like tomorrow, we always do math in the morning, right? So if it has Wednesday written on it, just wait until we do it. Then you're doing it in the math lesson. And also, there are things that I've written on the reading where I've written Wednesday. Wait till we do the reading lesson in the afternoon, and then you guys will be able to do it with us.
Yeah, we know that. But today we do it in the morning before we do the Zoom.
Okay, don't do it before you do the Zoom. If you want to do it with us, you got to kind of wait for us, okay? I understand. But I need to get moving on because I got about a half an hour left of instructional time, and I have to get the kids time to work on this and do a spelling test. So I guess you can just go through and make sure you did it correctly, and then tomorrow try and save it until the Zoom is all I'm saying. All right, perfect. Good talk. Here we go. Vocabulary. Up at the top of this one, it says, choose the word from the box that best completes each sentence. Write the words on the line to the left. Annabelle hoped she could learn all her lines in the blank by December. 2, I shop for clothes with my friend Josh, who gives great fashion blank. Their flight canceled, comma, the family had to make other blanks to get home. 4, her plans to rule the world hit a blank when the superheroes burst into her hideout. Ellen and her brother Holden were excited to learn that they were blank of Blackbeard. Then down below you're doing this crossword puzzle. Now 6, 7, and 8 go across 6, 7 and 8. The nice thing is you should be able to figure out how many letters long those are. 6 is later generations of a family. 7 is plans and schedules. 8 is an emotional disagreement. 9 down is an obstacle problem area. And 10 is not truthful. I think that's pretty easy. You couldn't see 10, it's right there. I think those are pretty easy. Questions, comments, or concerns? Again, if you're out on quarantine right now or just out of school,